What's up, everybody? How you doing? Hey, it's time. Time for what? What's the time for?
This is your last mistake.
I'll tell you what it's time for. It's time for a review. That's right. We're talking about it. Obviously, World Tier 5's not out yet, and the raid's not out yet, so we don't really have I can't really review like everything for you, but I can review the game so far, which I think is what most of you at this moment in time are concerned about. Is it worth my money? Is it worth my time to play the Division right now in its current state? Blah, 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 blah. All of the usual whipped and beaten animal questions that we ask ourselves whenever a new game comes out because we're so used to being disappointed. So let me just start off the review with this, and this might be all you need, and then you can go. Buy the game. You don't need to worry about that shit. The rapid fire answers for all the stuff you're used to. Is the grind fun and enjoyable? Yes. Is it fun for solo players? Yes. Is it fun to play with friends? Yes. Is there PvP? Yes. Is the Dark Zone fun? Yes. Is there enough to do? Yes. Everything that's a red spot on my map right now is something to do. Everything that's a gray spot on my map is something to do or redo and search for loot. You know, can you customize your characters? Yes. Are the specializations unique and interesting? Yes. Does the gear seem to have depth? Yes. Is the weapons and armor system interesting? Yes. Are there sets? Yes. Can you min-max things? Yes. Everything that you're used to asking about a game and eventually getting to a point of a moment of disappointment because the game doesn't quite have exactly what you're looking for. The Division passes that test. Division is a complete game on launch, which shouldn't be mega high praise, but based off of our experiences in total as gamers, that's a rarity these days. Division 2 launched as a complete game. There were a couple bugs, which I think are unavoidable when you launch a live service game. I have a tolerance for a couple of broken things. Anytime I'm playing a game, I understand that there's a couple things that are always going to go wrong, but those were fixed quickly. So if you've been hearing about skill glitches, those are fixed. The only real heavy critique that I have right now is that in the Dark Zone, it seems that one-shot sniper build sort of reigns supreme. Yeah, you poop, doggy. You can make that poop. One-shot sniper builds seem to reign supreme, but that is something that the Division has already mentioned that they're working on, and the first thing I said was, oh, well, that's going to fuck up snipers everywhere else in the game. And then I was told that, no, it won't, because they can actually balance the DZ and the main game separately. Which is just another one of a series of things that I really want to sort of bring to your attention, is that the Division has gone out of its way to litter this world with moments of surprise and delight. Whether it's the fact that there's still Christmas decorations up, reminding us that, we've got, it's been 6 months since the collapse and nobody's cleaning up the Christmas decor, or it's the fact that you can directly focus your grind on grabbing some exotics, like this one, which requires you to pick up 4 blueprints and then a high-end weapon and craft it, or other missions where you can just run them in order to farm a drop off of the boss, like the Relentless, which I don't have yet. I think that's a nice touch. Some focus grind alongside with some random grind feels really good. The setting and the world is actually really, really, really beautiful and engaging. As the sun comes up through these trees, we'll talk about that. The setting of Washington, D.C. actually had me a little bummed when they announced it. I thought it might be cool to engage with some of these famous landmarks, of American history and all this other stuff. But in reality, in between these massive landmarks that occasionally look like, we have this beautiful, sprawled out, semi-destroyed world that's been, reimagined and re-inhabited by humans that are trying to make a living. Every single settlement feels good. Every little nook and cranny of the world is crammed with interesting stuff to find. And I think that one of the really special parts about the Division 2 is that this is a 1-to-1 ratio of Washington, D.C. in real life. So everything feels spaced out appropriately. There aren't like missing streets or like accelerated movement through the city like there was in New York. Now, if you miss the wintertime bleak aesthetic, that's gone. But the haze of summer, the roar of thunderstorms coming through, heavy fog, the day and night cycle makes the world not only feel alive. Hang on. We have to feed people, okay? It not only makes the world feel alive, but it makes encounters change. Whether it's taking over a landmark that you've taken over 4 other times and the Black Tusk won't stop taking it back from you, but this time you're doing it at night in a thunderstorm so you can't see shit, or it's completing your stronghold for the 5th time because you're helping out a friend, but now you have fog that blacks out everything that you can see in the middle of the day, which is really uncomfortable. There are just so many different little ways that the Division has engaged the world around you that it feels more alive. And to that point, I'll just show you this. So you'll see on the map right now, and you once you get to World Tier 1, you'll see this stuff too. You'll see the guns moving around the map. That the red ones are people going to attack my control points. The green ones are people going to attack their control points. You can spend an entire day working on clearing the map and protecting every location that you control from being taken back by the Black Tusk or other groups. You can spend the whole day in the Dark Zone if you want. You can spend the whole day grinding side missions, picking up shade tech, working on masks, which are basically, little hidden mini missions where you have to fix, you have to like salute this grave and then go over here and do that. And then a hunter shows up and then you blast him in the face. Even tiny touches like the fact that the sun's rising in the game world and you can see that the sun is also rising on my map. There are just so many little moments of polish for the Division 2 that it is hard it is hard for me to understate how wonderful the game feels to play. Every time you hop in, even if you're like, I'm not sure what I want to do today, the game is constantly throwing options at you saying like, well, you could do this, you could do this. You want to save these people? What about save these people? Watch out, these people are going to fuck someone up. So as you're moving through the world, even just getting around can become difficult if you haven't taken over the map, putting pressure on you to get some stuff back from the map. I am so incredibly pleased at how well the Division has managed, and the folks who made this game have managed to balance every little system to make them feel interconnected and valuable. If it wasn't for actually playing it, I wouldn't believe anything that I'm saying, because it's been so long since we've had a finished game like this. Along with all of that stuff that I just showed you, you're going to have projects every single week and while you're leveling up that are going to unlock meaningful things for you, whether it's blueprints, crafting materials and credentials. And they've replaced the HVT system with this massive interconnected spidering web of bounties that you can do for target intel that you pick up randomly on the map. You can just pick it up and you can go start doing bounties. Yesterday, we went and took out this, which was, I believe, this was the pinnacle bounty of, I think we had to do 10 other things to get to this one. And this felt like a raid style encounter. There was a lot going on and it took us 45 minutes to complete that one HVT because the bosses had some unique strategy and tactics and skills we hadn't seen before. So there is so much video game inside of this video game. Division 2 is a true sequel that any fan of the first will absolutely enjoy. Division 2 is also such a strong departure from the first that if you disliked the first game, but you're a fan of this genre, I would recommend coming back. The biggest critiques that people had were of Division 1 that made people move away that were fans of other shooters was time to kill. Time to kill has been pretty well adjusted, especially if you're playing solo. Things feel really good. And until you get into ultra high level content, you don't really feel the bullet sponginess of enemies. And if enemies are bullet sponges, it feels meaningful. Just like this guy who's walking around wearing, I don't know, so much bomb. I mean, he's basically wearing a hurt locker on his body right now. So of course it would be difficult to knock that out with bullets. But even then, he has a reasonable time to kill. So time to kill has been adjusted to feel a little bit more natural. It still has the RPG element to it. Enemies are going to have health pools. You can't have an RPG unless the enemies scale back against you. But the tactical gameplay that was sometimes missing from the Division has been resolved. I feel like the studios learned a lot from Wildlands and have definitely crafted encounters that feel much more tactical. The enemy AI is more intelligent. At times it's hilarious, but ultimately the game feels much more challenging and much more active. I've heard other people compare it to, it sort of feels like a live SOCOM experience where you have to constantly be aware of where the enemies are coming from and how they can flank you and things like that. I find it to be an incredibly fun experience, and if you're a fan of any weapon type, you're going to enjoy it. The meta in Division 1 was developed incredibly quickly. There was weapons that obviously outclassed everything else, and you had to use those in order to be successful. In Division 2, that's not the case. You could see I'm running an LMG and a rifle, not even a marksman rifle, and this is my preferred setup right now because it sort of works with the build that I have. Other people that I've been playing with, you know, they've been running SMG builds, they've been running assault rifle builds, shotgun builds, everything. And it all feels equally viable and at times necessary, depending on the encounter you're going into. Obviously, I feel really, really weak at close range, but I have friends that feel really strong at close range. So it all depends on your preferred and enjoyable play style. I really like the way sniping and long range play feels in Division 2. So that's how I prefer to play. If you like to get up close and run and gun, then there's definitely an option for you to play that way as well. Overall, to go back to the beginning of the video, I think the Division 2 is a fantastic addition to anybody who is a fan of looter shooters genre. It's a fantastic addition to your library. The story playthrough was fun and engaging. Taking over the map and getting to level 30 felt great. None of your efforts are wasted. None of your efforts are wasted through your first playthrough. You're constantly getting, whether it's, you know, weapon mods, which are now kind of more standardized and available to use everywhere, or just sort of learning how the different sets in the game work. You are always acquiring something that has long-term value for your character. So, in summation, I highly recommend picking up the Division 2. I think it's one of the best looter shooters made to date. I would make the argument that it might even be the best looter shooter released since Borderlands 2, which is incredibly high praise coming from me, especially if you know how long I've been here and how I got my channel started on both YouTube and Twitch. I am constantly blown away by the detail that has been put into this game, and I think that regardless of what kind of looter shooter fan you are, you will find something to love about the Division. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm going to keep walking around in these sewers and trying to find some keys to open up some chests. And I will talk to all of you next time. Capture card went out at the end of the video. Professional, so professional. Oh man, love it.